2 corners left here to go. I think spins out. Oh no, he's taken the lead there for the victory. As they come round the corner, 1.5 seconds is all that separates them. Welcome to race day in the James Bowl F3 League. Heads up the inside, that's 2 positions in 1 corner.
Kind of just throw the keys in the bowl and go for it, so that's it.
Good evening and welcome to round 11 of the European Sprint Series live from Road America, broadcast live on the Total Sim Sport YouTube channel. I am James Parfitt and shortly I will be joined by Sir Chris Rowlands this evening. So on to tonight, and here we are in Wisconsin. Quite a journey from Italy last week to the American Midwest tonight, for a track a shade over 4 miles long, with 14 turns, including the carousel, Canada corner, and of course the danger zone that is the kink. Hopefully we don't see a repeat of Catherine's Legs 2006 crash there tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, how can we forget it hosts the one and only Chris Rowlands. Chris, welcome in. Are you? So there you go, Chris. We're on round 11 already, and literally this season has absolutely flown by. So over the season, we've seen some epic races, 2 races to go, including this one tonight. Now, this Road America is kind of a different entity. So tell us, from Monza last week to Road America this week, what are we expecting is going to happen?
Well, in my opinion, I mean, Road America is a deceptively tricky multi-class circuit because you look at it and there's lots of long straights and you think, oh yeah, that's fine. We can just deal with everything at the long straights. But it gets very, very tricky to make some of those moves between the left-handers of turn 5 and 6 all the way through to the kinks, which is, you know, that's about a third, just over a third of the track where you're going to see problems. I'm especially expecting to see problems at the kink, which is where the aforementioned Catherine Legg had her crash. Because I think some of the prototypes, forget the GTE's lack of downforce, they kind of can only take the one line through there. So I think we're going to see some problems there. And I'm saying that because I've done it before and I still feel guilty. Canada Corner is another place I want to shout out for potential overtaking because you've got that nice, as we're looking on the approach to it here, quite a wiggly straight though. So you're going to see some miscommunication, I think. And again, another potential hotspot for issues tonight.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be one of them races, Chris, and we're just gonna get our normal, very excited Thursday evening self. And guys, if you're looking for something to listen to as well, don't forget tonight's race is sponsored by Inside iRacing Podcast for all your iRacing news, weekly updates. Round 5 is out. Round 5? Episode 5. Sorry, is out now. And hosted by Mark Jennings and Calvin Stent, and they discuss about putting together an endurance team. And what they would need. It's a very interesting listen. So I recommend that all of you, once you finish, click on the link in the YouTube description and go and have a listen to that. So, Chris, I feel now then it's probably a good time. While we've got about 5 minutes left to qualifying, why don't you take us a quick run through the standings if you can up until week 11?
Yeah, we can have a look at all 3 of the standings for our various things. It's kind of been sorted out. I mean, we get LMP1s up here. Jan Kurbs, as I believe, because it's 25 points for a win, I'm pretty sure that 68-point gap means he has sewn up the championship. And Carlo Labatti is looking pretty strong for second place too. They're both in here tonight, I believe. Yes, they have. We've got a massive LMP1 field tonight. We've got 11 cars, so that's going to be interesting to follow on. Daniele Pizzo as well. He's in third. He's here tonight, so he'll be looking to try and consolidate that third place, because Simon Cowlart's another driver who's here, right on his tail in fourth. Taylor Mills in fifth, not here tonight, so there is potentially some places to gain for some of our other drivers in the LMP1 field tonight. As you can see, it gets very tight as you go a bit further down the field. So still lots to play for there for our drivers, and we can go on to LMP2, which is really, it's much the same in a sense, because a certain Jan Studensky, who is here, along with the second place rival Alessandro Izzo. 20-point gap is pretty comfortable, but all that takes is a DNF for Studensky and a win for Izzo, and we've got a new leader of the championship. Francesco Panetta in third is here as well, so this is very good for our championship battles, because Panetta probably can't win anymore. Studensky needs to get just 6 points to be mathematically clear of him. But of course, Stuart Bickley, another driver who we've seen a lot of in the last few weeks, he's up to fourth. He'll be looking at that podium position there, and then Andrea Barilaro is in fifth, and I don't believe Barilaro is driving tonight. No. So again, another chance for some of our drivers further down the field here to have a cheeky jump up the field. For example, I think Joost Bouwmeester is someone to look out for tonight. He's been in YouTube chat already, so hi Joost, good luck.
Yeah, he's down. The track is hot apparently, so yeah, that's going to be an interesting one.
That's going to make it even trickier for the guys and girls out there tonight. And we can have a look at GTEs as well, because of course, let's not forget our GTE brethren here. Romain Verdolivo, he has got a 46-point lead over Tony and Gwen. And that is nearly insurmountable. He just needs 6 points from the last two races. He's here tonight. He's currently on pole. I believe everyone's still got their second laps to go, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything yet. And of course, old reliable himself, Richard Simner in third. He is here. I don't think he'll appreciate me calling him old, but he certainly is reliable. He is followed by Danny Goslin and Mikhail Rack. I don't believe either of them are here. So again, it's a chance for that. Look how tight that is. From fourth down to 18th, 11 points separating them. So really, anyone in GT that wants to get near the podium, it's anyone's game. So still plenty to fight for, just because it looks like 2 of our 3 championships have possibly been wrapped up already.
I think that's what makes it so exciting, though. Like when we broadcast this, Chris, we kind of don't really know who's going to be in the top split or who's not and whatever. But I think that's what makes the championship so interesting, because we don't know who's going to be here. It kind of leaves it open, doesn't it? Because somebody might come in and have like Verdolivo come in and did the first 4 races, I think it was. He took 2 off and he's still top of the championship. You know what I mean? It just goes to show he doesn't need to be here every week, but it's just interesting that the format is you could just, you know, turn up and come and go. And I think that just makes it so exciting with like tonight and next week's left.
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree with that. And it's nice as well. You almost get this sort of semi-league feel where the drivers know each other and can trust each other, but there's still a bit of a wild card nature to it. I mean, we've seen incidents before the start line in both of the last 2 races. You don't generally get that in private leagues. And I'm sure for the drivers it's frustrating, but for a viewer, it's quite entertaining. Obviously, we'd rather see clean racing, but this is a nice second prize for us.
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well. And you know, as you say, we're 11 weeks in. We've got Road America and Sebring, and they're just going to be 2 unbelievable. You know, tonight is going to be epic, but Sebring, wow, that's just going to be absolutely amazing. So we have got a full lap of the pace car this evening, guys, as well. So we'll run you through the grid, which my delightful Mr. Rowlands will do as we're heading around the pace lap. Because it is going to be quite a slow lap now. As you say, there's 14 corners on this track. There you go. As we speak, producer Sean puts the grid up. Chris, off you go. Why don't you run us through them?
So let's have a look at this giant LMP1 field, and they're all very strong drivers tonight. We've got Locke Marchand in first, and he's alongside Simon Cowlart's in second, just the 2 tenths separating them. And then, although again, look at how close the entire top 7 are, really. Carlo Labatti is third. He's on row 2 alongside Jan Kurbs, who is driving the Porsche tonight in a sea of Audis. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on with that tonight. Daniele Pizzo, another of our regulars, he is in 5th and looking to avenge some very interesting results he's had in the last few rounds. I don't think his pace has been fully realised with the results so far. He is accompanied by Jake Carey on row 3. Ollie Cole is in 7th, and Roberto Edouard, who I believe is new to the broadcast race, I don't recognise his name, they are row 4, followed by Luke Santos and Ben Rose in 9th and 10th, and then Amber Dauchenbar in 11th. That rounds out our LMP1 field. We, of course, have got the other 2 fields, so let's have a look at LMP2. In pole, we have got Michele Sangalli, who has been pretty quick when he's been in. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on tonight. He is accompanied with Francesco Panetta. Already mentioned him. He's quite high up in the standings. In fact, I think all of our top 4 are high up in the standings as they get going in the background. Alessandro Izzo, he is in 3rd alongside Jan Studensky. So it'll be interesting to see how Jan behaves in the first few laps, because he has got bags of pace when he gets going, but often gets involved in incidents. And of course, it's that time of year where the guys have got to think about their licenses, and Jan is very close to being demoted from A. So I hope we'll see him on his best behaviour tonight, because when he is, he's a fantastic racer. Row 3, Jus Baumeister, as we mentioned, he is in 5th alongside Benjamin Cowra in 6th. And then it's an all-British row 4, Alistair Catchpole and Stuart Bickley, row 7th and 8th. Followed by one of the DeBackers. I don't believe we've got all of them in tonight. We had 2 last week. Jim DeBacker, he's switched into the MP2 for tonight, and he's put it in P9 alongside his Benelux brethren, Jean-Paul Seaman. He is in 10th, followed by Jose Cazon. And then after that, we have got Blasco. And I believe that is our LMP2 field, so we can move on to the GTEs with, again, some familiar names on the front row. Romain Verdelivo, he's on pole, followed by Marco Ricci. David Flamont and Benoit Lepezenech are in row 2 in P3 and P4 respectively. Jerome Charvet and Richard Simner, old reliable. They are. I'll stop doing that, Richard, I'm sorry. They're 5th and 6th. Again, look at how close the top 8 are here. Yannick Seitz aside Bashoa, 7th and 8th, and they're all within a second of each other. So we're going to see some excellent racing from the GTEs tonight, I think. And then we've got Emil Ronning, who I don't think set a representative lap time, and Stefan McCartain, who didn't set a lap time. So I think we're going to see some interesting racing in all 3 fields tonight, James.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Adam Hedgecock, who's in chat this evening. Evening, Adam. How are you? Welcome in. And like Rabia, I wanted to do the race, I forgot to register. Oh, never mind, man. Next week, last one is Sebring. Come along, should be an absolutely epic evening of racing. Now, you know, this, as we can see, guys, from here, we are heading currently round the carousel on our very slow pace lap this evening. And I'm interested to see, Chris, as well. I've seen Verdelivo switch back to the Porsche from the Corvette last week. So I want to see how he gets on with that. We know Verdelivo's quick, and I believe he was initially in the Porsche anyway, wasn't he? So that's going to be an interesting. And I'm going to see how Jim DeBacker gets on in the LMP2. I think that's going to be amazing after seeing him obviously have that unfortunate incident with his brother last week. So there you go. Chris, quick prediction. LMP1 winner.
LMP1. Okay, it'll be chaos. I'm going to go very left field and say that Cole is going to win the LMP1s. He's car number 31, but everyone loves an underdog. That's my pick for LMP1.
Quick, we've got 2 more sets. LMP2.
You can have Jan Studensky for LMP2. I'm feeling optimistic. And GTE, let's go with Richard Simner. He's deserved a win.
Ooh, Mr. He's not going to like you calling him Mr. Unreliable, considering I normally call him the reliable plodder. You know what I mean? So, but LMP1, I'm going Loic Marchant. LMP2, I'm going to Izzo. And GTE, I think Richie's going to get it. There you go. That's it. That's the prediction. If any of them go out, I do apologise. We are going to be coming round turn 14 now, guys. The pace car is going to be diving off to your right very shortly. And here we go. It should be ducking off now. Round 11 of the Total Sim Sport broadcast split is go. And Loic Marchant has taken an absolute massive jump over Simon Cowlotz as they head down into turn 1 now. You got Cowlotz, Marchant, Cowlotz and Labate closely followed by Corbs in the Porsche. The LMP1s have got away cleanly. As you can see, they're going up round into turn 3. We're going on to the LMP2. Sangali's got a jump as well. That gives Sangali, Izzo, and then Studinsky who's just made a move, I believe, on second place as we go head down. There we go. He comes down the hill into turn 3, taking the inside line. Car number 12 there, that's Stadinsky, is up in front of Izzo, heading down the Moraine sweep. Now down in GTE, oh, there's a spinner at the back there. That was car number 7, that's Blasco. He's taking a spin at the moment. In the GTEs, we've got Verdolivo, followed by Richie in his Corvette, and then Pezanik in his Porsche, heading down turn 3, down the Moraine sweep. Chris, fairly clean, fairly clean.
Quite fairly clean, although I think Panetta in the LMP2 field had a pre-start line issue because he was in second, and he, as you can see on the track map, is right at the back of the LMP2 field, bar Blasco. And Just, it looks like, has also had an incident now because he's falling down the order as well. There you can see in the background. Yeah,
so Just Baumeister here. We're seeing car number 25. He's on the inside. That's not car number 12. That's Jan Stadinsky. Massive amount of netcode, I believe, there, Chris. There didn't really seem to be any contact. So that's put Stuart Bickley. He's up into 8th in the LMP2. He goes wide. That was a couple of cars in LMP2 there that also went off. That was Stuart Bickley was 1. I missed who the second one was as we jump on back ball with the LMP1s. Now we've got Stuart Bickley. Was that Just again? Car number 10. No, that's Kazon. Do they follow each other? I think they just follow each other, don't they? Kazon and Bickley got that driver's tunnel vision, and they just followed each other off the circuit. So here we go with Simon Cowlos, P2 in the LMP1. We've got Loic Marchand. He's pulled out a 0.91 gap at the moment. He's heading down into turn 5. He's going to be hard on the brakes. On the right-hand side, you see the board, the 100 board. He's going to be hard on the brakes. He's going to be flicking it in left and heading up the short run up into 6. As we come up over the hill, we'll see the crest, and then we'll hit the brake and carry on. Chris, Loic Marchand, we know he's quick. He's got a good jump. Simon Cowlot second. He's also quick, though, isn't he?
Yep, they all are. And one of the things I really like about Road America on the first few laps is with those long straights at the start of the track and then on the way to Canada corner at the end, it's very difficult to get away from your competitors. And that's why I think we saw those 2 guys going wide on the last lap into the kink, because they are pushing for every last tenth they can get out of this track, because you're so vulnerable to the draft. If you like, say where Jan Curbs has got no one in front of him, he's vulnerable to pit zone on the draft.
Oh, there's 2 gone off there. Oh, he's got a wiggle. Ollie Cole. Wow, take a bow there, son. What a save. That was absolutely unbelievable. It was like Gordon Banks saving a header from Pele. He just grabbed hold of it, wrestled it, and told it weren't going round. Well, that was amazing, Chris.
It was elite showboating, is what we can call that. And I'm glad to see that my pick for the win is still in the race. There is a healthy debate going on in driver voice chat over the Studensky-Baumeister incident.
Oh, is that well, we've got to run. That was whispered in her ear, Chris, and that was a big chunk of net code. As we're heading around Canada corner now, there's Kazon. He's not got that. That LMP2 doesn't look comfortable after it decided it was going to take a trip into the barrier. He's just about to lose a place to Panetta as well. Mr. Hedgecote, how you doing, chats? We're doing fine. Thank you very much. Looking forward to this much anticipated, exciting race. Jim DeBacker, what have you been up to?
I think we're about to see him lose the front of his car here.
Oh, no. Oh, yes, very much so. Did he get Bickley? No, Bickley goes round him. Did Bickley survive? Kazon went round him. Oh, DeBacker's in the pits. Baumeister's in the pits. Bickley's in the pits. Did he make...
that whole section is so difficult because, again, you're pushing. Let's see if Bickley gets any... Oh, he's avoided
nothing. See you later.
That's exactly what I did in the Lotus 79 last night. You don't want to hit the guy in the middle of the road, so you basically just yeet yourself into the barrier, and it's very frustrating, but it's not really an alternative because you're going to crash into something either way.
Yeah, as we're heading down now, we've got Simon Cowlotz in the LMP1. We've got Loic Marchand in first, Cowlotz second, Labate in third. Corb's in the Porsche, which I'm quite interested to see what he's going to be able to do from there. We've got Cowlotz run wide. That's opened him up to Labate. Labate's taking the inside of 13B, heading round into 14, the last corner. There you go, Carlo Labate gets the job done. Jan Cubs picked a Porsche, Chris, this week. Do we know why? Is there any reason for it? He's normally not in it.
I haven't asked him. My guess, it's not educated, is that he knows he's got the championship sewn up.
2 seconds there, Chris. We've got Cowlotz going round Labate into turn 1. There you go. That's the Cowlotz getting the job done. Back on Labate again after Cowlotz had his off track. Sorry, Chris, carry on. We're going around turn 3 now.
No, I think it's just for the challenge, but this battle, if you just look at, you may have seen the timing tower, the fastest laps. Loch Marchand is a good second and a bit faster than Cowlotz on the last lap. 41.6 to Cowlotz's 42.9. I think Marchand's the one who's really going to benefit from this battle at the moment, because it's just allowed him to get out of the draft range and he can start building his gap.
Yeah, as you see, Luke Santos there making his known to Rose that he's still there as we go round 5, heading up the road to 6. Richard Simnar has been on the events. We've just got a little replay of what's happened. He's taken, is that car number 20 there, Chris? Simnar's gone round. Oh, okay, that's car number 28 has hit him. And who was on the inside? I didn't see who was on the inside there, Chris.
No, I'm not sure who that was either. Possibly Verdelivo, car number 3, in which case Richard Simnar was right in front, but that looks like his race is done.
Yeah,
sadly.
He's in the pits at the moment. That was a very crabby car. That's Luke Santos. So that's Benoit Lepezanek. He's up into 3rd in GTE. So we've got Verdelivo, Richie and Pezanek in 3rd, Flamont in 4th, Bashir in 5th, Seats in 6th, Chavez 7th, Ronings in 8th, and McCartin is in 9th currently as they're heading down into turn 1. Now, the GTEs, Verdelivo's back in his Porsche, which is what we're accustomed to, I suppose, Chris, in a way. There he is in his Porsche. We're normally seeing him in the Corvette, but he's changed over this week. He's generally quick, and he's been quick all season, hasn't he, really?
Yeah, and I think these top drivers, they're going to be quick pretty much regardless of the car, but I think where we were seeing the Corvette on the really straight line demanding tracks, the drivers are just going to pick the car that they think is most advantageous for each track. And obviously we've got the long straights here, but you're still going to need some cornering speed, because there's a lot of tricky corners here as we are getting into the traffic time.
Yeah, Jan Korb siphoning his way through, coming up the hill over into 6 before we head up 7 and up Hurry Downs. We've got Simnar and Eustace in chat at the moment. I get both gentlemen, unfortunately, are out of the race this evening. So we're going to have to say goodbye to them too this evening. Unfortunately, Chris, that's your GTE pick back in YouTube chat.
Yeah, I think we've cursed quite a few drivers already.
Sorry, Chris, sorry. We?
It's a team sport.
So you're collectively in the commentary booth, me and Chris have cursed drivers. Richard, I won't tell you that Chris had you down for the win.
We succeed together, we fail together.
Oh, exactly. So we've got Ricky, he's gone past. Benoit Pezanek has just trying to go up. He's gone up the inside of Ricky. Coming down, I've got the LMP1s involved in this as well. So we're heading round turn 14 at the moment. That's worked out well for Pezanek, because the LMP1s have kind of got in Ricky's way, and that's left that gap. That pass is already done and finished there, Chris.
Yep, and this is sort of, we've said it before in previous weeks, it's so tricky. If you're battling in any of these fields right now, it's balancing getting past the traffic or letting the traffic get past you with not losing sight of the drivers around you. I mean, you can see Pitso's been able to catch up curbs, and Labate is now clear of them as well, so he's catching up to Marchand. And this is all a consequence of just where they caught up to traffic, because we know these guys can deal with it quickly. Sometimes it's just a situation you get into, but a good driver can use it to their advantage and perhaps fuel save.
Yeah, as we jump aboard Alistair Catchpole, he's got Studensky up in front of him at the moment. We've got Sengali, Izzo, Studensky, Catchpole, Cora, Simon, Kazon, Panetta, and Blasco rounding out our LMP2 fields. We've lost Tobacco. Baumeister is out as well. Bickley's still in the pit, so I dread to think how long that repair is going to be. But as we see what we've come accustomed to famously watching Jan Studinsky weave all over the track faster than my mother could knit a jumper as he goes left and right, weaving constantly headed down into turn 1. We've discussed this on every single week, Chris. It's not something we both adhere to, but it's something that comes with him, isn't it?
Well, you know,
what has Baumeister been up to there, Chris?
I think this is dealing with the car after he's already had some damage, and again, chatting and debating the incident over voice chat. Not fully engaged with the racing, but then who would be when you're a couple of laps down and well out of the reckoning, and at least staying clean enough? Oh, maybe not. But I think it's time to retire that car. Perhaps he's not having a very good day.
Yeah, as we see
save it for
Catchpole
another day.
Stadinsky go up the top of the hill, Chris. 2 seconds, sorry, cut you off. As we get up into 6, going along from 7, up the right, up Hurry Downs at the moment. They're heading down into 8. Catchpole looked like he had the move done there. It'd be interesting to see. Chris, if you can take us through the replay.
Yep, so they're taking quite different lines. Oh, you can see Jan Stensky went quite wide. That's a very different line. But because he's got the inside, you can brake a bit more confidently. Catchpole's left him probably more space than he needed to, but that's, I mean, if you're looking at it in a cynical way, that's the advantage of driving the way Stensky has, because people are going to give him a lot more room because they know about his reputation.
I think that's the thing, though, Chris, as well. His reputation makes very... Ollie Cole has just gone past Jake Carey, heading down up into 5. It takes him on the inside, I believe, Chris.
See, obviously, I know what I'm talking about, picking Ollie for the win tonight. This is a textbook overtake, nice and early onto the inside. Both drivers know where they're going to be. And actually, Cole is able to almost move back across to not compromise his exit so bad. So that's a pretty textbook overtake at Road America, I would say.
Yeah, as we see Catchpole now. Follow it. This is the thing, right, Chris? This gives the drivers his own reputation, right? We know LMP's drivers are disliked in a way by GTEs that really don't, you know, come off how faithful, should we say, because they really don't like them. But you know, we've got Verdolivo going off track, I believe. He's run wide, just spun it on the curb. Oh, car number 29 in the LMP2. That's Miss Stuart Bickley. Just managed to avoid in there as well. So good job, well done to Stuart, because he must have had another life flash before his eyes there. As we see now, Ricky and Benoit Lepeznac coming down into Canada corner at the moment. Ricky takes the inside line. He doesn't give his full nose of that Corvette. Up on to Pezanek as we head down through 13 and 13A, going across round to 14, the last corner. This is going to be an interesting run because we know the Corvette's got grunt, Chris, don't we?
Yep, and he's now got 2 long straights to take advantage of it. And I mean, it's not really, turn 1's not the overtaking opportunity unless you've got a massive run, because if you get past, you've compromised your exit, ready for the next long straight. So really what you want to see here is just, he's going to go for it though.
He's pulled out. Ricky has pulled out, and Pezanek going down into turn 1. I think this is going to get the job done if he can stop that Corvette running slightly off track. There you go. What a maneuver as he covers him down into 3. He's got to be taking it careful. We've seen this come before. This corner's, well, it claimed 6 cars in a GT3 race I was commentating on the other week, Chris, and literally wiped out half of the top field. So we're down into Moraine Straight. We got on the back end of Ricky. He's got Pezanek behind him. At the moment, coming down into 5. On the brakes, turn left, up the hill. He's got a little bit of a slow exit compared to Pezanek behind in the Porsche. Coming up into 6 now. We're going to be jinking over the top of the hill on the brakes, turning left. That was job done. We've got Charvet. It's just lost a position to Sights, as I believe in the same spot down on 5. It is up over the hill into 6. That's job done there, Chris, as well. So we've got quite the GTE field's had a bit of a stir up since Verdolivo's taken it off.
Yeah, it's been quite spicy, and I think, like you're saying, the extra grunt of the Corvette, I think, has kept Ricky safe there, because you could see Pezanek wasn't really able to catch up down the hill on the second straight. And then, yeah, from sort of turn 5 onwards, it's not really a sensible overtaking spot. So it may well be that Porsche is better in the corners, but there's not really any way you can take advantage of that.
Yeah, we got seats there. We're getting 3 wide. The 3 Porsches, the Sights, Roning and Charvet, heading down into Canada corner. This is not going to work. I'm glad they've backed up, because that was Rooning's taking 2 places within 2 corners there. He used the grunt of the Porsche coming down into Canada corner, and we've literally got a line of Porsches heading down into 14. Roning, Sights and Charvet. Here we go. We're on board with Roning now. We're coming up to the first part. He's going to be taking the first one. The first one runs wide. That allows him to get through. He wiggles around the second one, slivers through, slices through them like a hot knife through butter, takes the inside of Canada corner, and that is Roning through. Done. Good job. Take a bow, young sir.
Of
Wow,
course,
Chris, that was epic.
now they've got the LMP2 field to contend with, so that's going to break up this what is rapidly becoming a 4-car battle with McCartane in the background. But it looks like Sangali's got through okay, but we've still got Itzo and Studensky and Catchpole to come. So they're not out of the woods just yet. And of course, Cower and Seaman not that far behind them either. So we've got multiple 4-car battles on the field at the moment. And Pitso, Cole and Carey in the LMP1 field are close as well. So a lot to keep tabs on at the moment, as Itzo is going to get stuck in traffic here.
Yeah, car number 28 is sights at the moment. He's taken Roning, and Itzo's trying to get through as well. So they just went practically 3 wide, going up the hill from 5 to 6 under the bridge, jinking left. Now we're heading up into Hurry Downs, guys, as well. This part of the circuit, as you can see, that's car number 18. That's Benjamin Cora. Is that LMP1 in front, or was that Seaman getting through? Car number 21, I believe. He was getting through, so he's going to be catching up to the back of Alistair Catchpole, who I feel, you know, Chris, is somewhat being held up by Studinsky here, because we know the reputation, so it doesn't allow him to push, does it? You know, because you're always going to go near. You're not going to get near an apprehensive driver, and he's got the reputation as probably one of the most questionable driving reputations in the whole of iRacing.
Yes, perhaps, but I think it's possibly more so that Catchpole is, in my impression at least, is one of the more sensible and...
Oh, no!
I've cursed him. I've cursed him. Nothing he could do there, but that is, I believe, McCartane just had that bit of a spin. The LMP2s are tanks, so let's see if that's going to damage Catchpole too much. He'll probably have lost some straight line speed, though, and Seaman's able to take advantage, and possibly Cower as well.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, I think Catchpole hit him a little bit too hard. His car looks like he's up on 3 wheels there, Chris. I'm not going to lie. If we can look at the front, it does not look comfortable. On the left-hand side there, Chris, it looks very lifty. I don't know how Alistair Catchpole is still managing to keep that on track at this moment in time, but it's looking more like a double-sided tripod there, Chris. It's going backwards and forwards. It's not looking a comfortable car at the moment.
No, and they've now got all 3 classes to contend with in the same bit of track like we see every week, and it's glorious from the commentary booth, but it must be incredibly stressful for all 3 classes of drivers here. Going 3 wide on the main straight and now here as well. And yeah, Catchpole's only lost to 2 places, but that's, what, 3 or 4 seconds he's lost?
Oh, he's going to be losing. That was the LMP1 there coming through under lights ablaze of glory, trying to flash as quickly as possible as car number 5 in the LMP. That's Jan Korbs in the Porsche. He's currently trying to get away from Roberta Edward. And we're going to see what happens there. But it's going to be, I don't really know. This is just getting a little bit all tight together as we head up into 8. We're going to be round LMP1 Loic Marchant and Carlo Labatti have ended up really close together due to traffic. We've gone round Carousel. We're heading down 11A, 11B on a short back left straight, whatever you want to call it, on the back side of the circuit. Loic is open. He's got to be looking at trying to pass these. That Corvette's come and taking that line, looked like almost shut the door on Labatti. But that's the joys of multi-class, Chris, isn't it? You can't predict where the cars are going to be. And sometimes it's not always, well, as I found out in the last couple of LMP2 races, it's not always good to be aggressive.
No, it's all about risk management, even in these 1 hour sprint races. I mean, you saw the Corvette there. Just leave that little bit of room on the inside, just to allow the LMP1 in if he decides to go for it. But what that also does is, because he didn't leave acres and acres of room, he was able to protect himself. I believe it was Ricky or McCartane.
That was Charvet getting almost looked like Kazon and literally give him a little tap. Be interested to see if we can get it from the front end of the Kazon's Delara there, car number 10, just to see. I believe there was some contact there, Chris, I think. So we'll see there, but we've got Labatti and Loic Marchant heading up round turn 5, heading up over the little kink in the top of the track. We've got number 1, Sengali, leader of the LMP2 field. Here we go. We're on board with Kazon now. We're heading up. There's the blue Porsche Charvet. You've got nowhere to go, Kazon, apart from into the back of Charvet's Porsche. There you go. That's how that one came about from that one there, Chris.
That was very unfortunate timing, because Charvet just moved out just as he was getting into the braking zone. And of course, these cars are all going to have slightly different braking zones as well. I don't think Charvet was looking to make a move. I think it was just to cover off the potential dive down the inside. But this is unfortunately what happens if you make those slightly aggressive moves.
Yeah. We just have Verda Lever. He's just gone past Bashoa. heading around the carousel now. He's back up into 4th. He's on his way back, but we have got an LMP1 on the outside, taking the wide line round carousel. We got 2 Porsches and LMP1. He takes the inside now. He cuts back across the track, and off he goes. Job done for him. Verdalivo heading down the back straight, gone around the kink, and we're off down through the back side of the circuit, 11A, 11B. Currently, McCartane, Chave, Simnar out of GTEs. We've got a couple out of LMPs as well, but this is the thing. We've got the Corvette, Ricky and Pezenik, and that's blocked the circuit for Catchpole, who can't go anywhere, and neither can the LMP1 because these guys are trying to fight out for the lead of the GTEs, Chris.
Yep, and that was absolutely gorgeous slide around Canada corner from Ricky there. It did well to keep it pointing the right way and going quickly, but he's going to just have to sort of stay patient here because he's got a little bit of a run on Pezenek, but it might be worth waiting again. I know I said this before. Oh, he's looking for it again, though, but he's not going to be close enough. Wait for the next long straight, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's David Flamont now, I believe. He was the man on the mission with Richard Simnar earlier on. I believe it was them two that had to come in together, as it was pointed out to us as well. Mr. Hedgecock's in chat saying, Jesus, the commentator's curses are real tonight. Well, if that's going to be how it's going to be, sir, we won't talk about anyone, and you'll have a very boring next 38 minutes. But here we go, on board with Flamont coming down into 5. We let the LMP1 go through. Coming down onto 5, you're going to be looking on the brake just about now. Down on the brakes, we probably broke a little bit early, coming round 5 there, but I believe we were being swamped by LMP2 cars heading up over the hill. On the brakes just under the bridge, and off we go again. We've got Flamont, Verdalivo, Bashoa, and Ronin. Ronin with his excellent 2-car makeup earlier on. Unfortunately, just taken another hit on his positions. But here we go. Pezenik is on the left-hand side. We've got Ricky in the Corvette. We've got the LMP1s. We've got LMP2s. And we're all going to go on the carousel together there, Chris.
Yeah, it's quite a stressful time to be in. We've seen from Flamont, he's been very accommodating. As he's got very close to Ricky now, he's going to be able to take advantage of this. But yeah, Flamont's been letting through the prototypes, but this is why there's a load of cars bunching up behind him, because they're not being quite so accommodating. But this might also mean Flamont's the one that finishes the race, although based on our track record tonight, I may have just cursed him to be DNF'd in this next corner.
Right, there we go. Canada corner. Does Flamont make it all the way round? He does at the moment. Good job, Chris.
The curse has been broken.
There you go. So we've got 5 cars of the GTEs literally wrapped together. You chuck a sheet over all of them, you probably cover all of them. As we're heading down 14, Pezenik's got a big slide that's going to leave him open to Ricky coming up over the hill with the GTEs. Ricky is going to be literally climbing all over the base, taking a move on the left-hand side. We can jump forward. There you go. There is Ricky taking the right-hand side from Pezenik, going down into turn 1. Ricky in his gorgeous Corvette roaring its way down past the Porsches. That leaves a Corvette, Porsche, and then that's the end of the field for the GTEs. I believe the rest of them are out, apart from Seats, who happens to be in a Porsche as well there, Chris. So it's a Porsche-dominated top 6.
Yeah, this is going to be quite interesting because this is 5 of the remaining 6 runners with sights in the pits are in this battle. So this is going to be very intense, and it'll be very intense the next time the prototypes come around to lap them as well, assuming they're all still together by that point.
You see Verdalivo, he's just taken 3rd place back from Flamont. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here, though, because he's now got Bashoa. Flamont has got Bashoa climbing all over the back. Is Flamont the slow one in the pack, and he's just living off the draft? He's obviously not slow because he is in the top split, so it'll be interesting to see as we're heading up around 8. At the moment, we're going to be hard on the brakes near the free sign, bringing it round 8 before we head off around the carousel. 35 minutes remaining, Chris. Why don't we have a quick rundown of the standings currently if we start at the LMP1s?
Yeah, so it's been quite a nice simple race, as it always seems to be for the LMP1 leader, with Locke Marchand currently in the lead with a 3.5-second gap over Carlo Labatti. Who is up 1 place, same as Jan Curbs in 3rd. He is a further 5.5 seconds behind there. And the only Porsche we've got tonight, so he's the lead Porsche, is the way we always want to put that. Top 5 is rounded out by Edouard and Carey, who are the only 2 LMP1s in anything resembling a battle right now. I believe Ollie Cole, who was battling up here earlier, he must have had an off-track at one point because he's a little bit further back in 6th. And then we can have a look at the LMP2s, where it's been sort of the same story for Sangalli in the lead, although It's not the biggest lead over Itzo. We know Itzo's got incredible pace as well, so look out for these two to battle later into the race. Jan Studensky in third is now 10 seconds down. It's been eventful as ever for Jan, but he's still there and still in third, so this is good for his championship prospects. He is now 3.5 seconds clear of Seaman in fourth, who, again, has got Kazan and Kaura just behind him, just to keep him interested. So, this is far from over, and actually, really, these top 6 are all within a reasonable window for the win still, with Alberto Blasco in 7th. Not out of it, but he is the last of the regular running LMP2s now. Catchpole is a lap down after he pitted. He was stopped for 40 seconds, so that is a normal pit time. Obviously, the mechanics look like they've hammered out some of the front wing issues there, but we'll see if that's affecting his straight line speed so much. It's Timing Tower is saying his top speed of 293 kilometers an hour. It looks to be on par with the other cars that haven't had draft, so he'll be hoping that the aerodynamics of that car are back to normal. But let's have a look at the GTE field. It's actually spread out, so it looks like Pezanek may have had an off track in the last lap. Let's see what happened to Benoit. This is into the final corner. And is he going to run wide?
Run it wide, isn't he?
One wheel on the grass. Tiny tap of the tyres. A little bit of damage to the car, but that is recoverable. But that 5-car battle we were hoping for is now a 4-car battle, but at least Ronning's got someone for company. Currently, Richie is leading in his Corvette, but he's got Verdelivo for company right behind. Not a driver you want in your rearview mirrors because of how quick he is. With David Flamont still up in third, with Side Bouchoa just behind him in fourth. And then the aforementioned Pezanek and Ronning are 5th and 6th, with the remaining 4 cars of the GTE field all out, sadly, including our predicted race winner, Richard Simner, which, barring some shenanigans, I suspect isn't going to win this race now, although I'm going to still be on my fence. You never know. Miracles have happened.
It's going to be definitely some miracle for Mr. Simner to come back and still win tonight's race. I'd like to point out that was your choice, sir. I believe I've got 2 out of 3 so far. I'm going with 2 out of 3 classes at the moment. I've picked correctly, so there you go. That's me as well. So don't forget, guys, tonight's stream is sponsored by Inside iRacing Podcast, the only podcast you'll need for all your iRacing weekly news, hosted by Mark Jennings and Calvin Dent, and episode 5 is out now. A link is in the YouTube description. They talk about putting together an endurance team, and it's very interesting to hear Mark Jennings, some of the questions that Mark asked Calvin. It's a very good listen, and you should definitely have a listen to it if you haven't already. It's quite amusing in places. So there you go. That's for your podcast need Inside iRacing. The description's down below in the YouTube chat. Please hit the link and have a listen. So we've got Verdelivo chasing down Ricky, but we know Ricky's got pace in that Corvette. So we're heading up. We're going to be going round Carousel very shortly. Yes, Richard, I thought the same thing in chat as well. As soon as Chris said that you've still got a chance of winning, be interested to see. 31 minutes remaining, Chris. LMP2 field. LMP1's coming back past again. Is this going to play into Verdelivo's hands, though, do you reckon? Or do you reckon it's going to be give Ricky more favour? Because it's going to be Verdelivo that's got to yield first for these cars, isn't it?
Yep, although I think it comes down more to driver ability, and obviously, to an extent that's moot because Richie and Verdelivo are both incredibly talented drivers, but Verdelivo is a 5.5k iRating guy to Ricky's 3.5k. They both race a lot, so there's going to be something that has caused that extra 2k. It might well be that they just focus on one series where the other one drives a lot more, but I think what we've seen over the last 11 weeks, Verdelivo, he's always near the top, and you can't be bad at dealing with traffic.
The early lead. Look, he's taking the early move out. On board with Verdelivo now. There's Ricky on the left-hand side. We can see the back end of that Corvette, but look, that's the speed we were talking about. The Corvette is gone, and he's left the Porsche because that Corvette's got some grunt at the hand of Ricky there. Look at that, down into turn 1. Ricky gets the lead back. Now, where does that leave Verdelivo? He clearly hasn't got the pace on the straight to deal with that Corvette. So he's got to be looking at just literally purely sending it now, Chris, coming down Moraine into 5, isn't he?
Yep, and this would be the corner to do it because he can take advantage of the extra downforce he must have to get round basically the rest of the track and try and build a bit of a gap to be able to defend on the main straight. As you can see, unfortunately, he won't be able to do that because a prototype is on its way.
But he hasn't even got the gap, Chris. He literally was not closing past 0.3 seconds all the way down that straight. He literally did not improve in the straight line with the Corvette. So the Vet has just clearly got too much speed for the Porsches tonight. So surely, though, if we're looking at that, 29 minutes remaining, they both got a pit. Ricky can stay ahead. He's only got to keep it on the track. And that Porsche can't answer it because he can't seem to get him in the corners, and he's struggling to get him on the straights, Chris.
Nope, and the other jeopardy for Verdolivo is with Flamand further behind, he can't really actively fuel save too much either, because you're just going to be you're going to get taken advantage of by Flamand right behind, and Bouchoa, who is another very quick driver, is not that far behind either. So it's a bit risky to try and fuel save, but equally, if they battle hard, I mean, like you said, Richie is going to retake the place on every straight based on the difference they've got, especially once they'll have the draft advantage. So you're just going to have to sort of sit tight and hope, maybe try some pitch shenanigans. But you can see all over the back in this section here where you need that lower downforce, or higher downforce rather, but you can't really overtake in these positions. So we're kind of at a stalemate at the moment. Yeah,
Verdolivo just can't seem to use the draft because he can't get close enough. The gap doesn't change. In fact, if anything, it's lengthening out. The speed of the Vet over the Porsche is lengthening out from 0.5 out, and it's going up, Chris. I just can't see, with 28 minutes remaining, how Verdolivo can get past, unless he's going to be looking at using an undercut on the Corvette itself, because there just doesn't seem to have an answer.
This is where, if you're looking at having a pit crew, this is where they can come in handy, because they can analyse where you'd be coming out, if there'd be any prototype traffic behind you, because it might be worth just looking for gaps in the traffic. I mean, you can see on the track map there, coming out just after that LMP2 field, just coming along the main straight now, that would be absolutely perfect for one of these guys right now. But of course, they're not going to know that unless they've got someone in their ear, because they're busy driving these cars at their absolute limit for an hour, which is honestly a very underrated skill. They're talented drivers.
Yeah, I do it. The 45 minutes in the IMSAs, that's bad enough, let alone trying to do these. I've tried a couple of these before. Not always gone so well, but you know, as we said before, Chris, what is it we say? That's why we're in the booth and not out in track. As we're heading round Carousel, we've still got Verdolivo chasing down Marco Ricci with Flamand in third and Bouchoa in fourth. Ricky takes a little bit of a rough line. He's got Verdolivo's taking a lot better line. We've got car 29 at the LMP2 field coming up through traffic. That's Mr. Stuart Bickley. He's going to be interrupting Verdolivo's attempt here, and that's going to stop that gun. I believe Ricky's going to survive coming down into Canada corner, because I don't think Verdolivo's going to be able to pull out. And oh no, there we go. Ricky's run wide. He's on the grass coming down 11A through the last two corners. That may have been, and possibly have been, the best opportunity for Roman Verdolivo to make that move on Richie there, Chris. And I still can't see the gap closing on the straight with 0.12. It is shut down a little bit there, Chris. It's closing.
He's defending it though.
Yeah, he's not looking. Ricky's taking the right-hand line. It's not going to be enough, I don't think, unless Verdolivo is literally going to grow and send it up, which he hasn't done. And that's Ricky survived again for another lap. That allows him now, Chris, to settle down, doesn't it, really? He made that mistake at the end of 14. We saw it, he had a wiggle on, put himself in danger, but he's been clean for nearly 35 minutes. He's got to get his head back in the game now, Richie, and just really settle down on what he's doing in that vet.
Yeah,
go down, stop, finish straight.
This is the main battle on the track at the moment. As you can see on the track map, everyone else pretty spread out and behaving at the moment, so we'll just keep following this battle. And I think for Verdolivo, the thing I'll be interested to see what he does now is he'll be aware that Richie is under pressure, he's making that mistake. Is he going to make another mistake on this next lap? Is he going to start making mistakes elsewhere? Just stay right behind him and see if you...
Go on, Chris, sorry.
Yeah, just stay right, stay a tenth or two behind him as much as you can and just see if you can force that mistake and get the place that way. I mean, you don't normally see it in top split racing because these guys are just supremely talented, but everyone cracks under pressure eventually, unless your name is Verstappen or Hamilton.
He's going around the outside of Carousel there, Chris.
Wow.
We've got Verdolivo and Richard. I believe that's job done.
Goodness me.
Verdolivo took the high line. What an absolute epic move. Maybe we can get a replay on board with Verdolivo as he just sent it on the outside, going round the carousel corner, not the normal overtaking line unless you're Roman Verdolivo. Richie's coming up the inside though, up on Canada corner. He's not given up. That Corvette has still got that grunt that Richie needs coming around 13A. He's got to be looking at, he's got an LMP1 on the inside that nearly come together coming round 14. Here we go now, round 14. Down off the start, finishes straight. This has got to be Richie. He's got to be looking at seeing what he's doing. He's dived into the pits.
Let's have a look at the replay of the overtake here. This is a driver absolutely 100% confident in the downforce of their car. Look how much extra speed he's got around the outside. He's so confident they nearly touch. And that's probably helped a little bit more because I believe he would have had to, Richie has slightly had to pull out of being full throttle at that point. And that just allowed him to get a little bit more of a gap there, James.
Yeah, I don't think that was the problem. I don't think Richie was able to hang that out, because if he hung that out, he knew the car was going to go wide. It goes wide automatically. We've discussed this loads of times before, where the GTEs, there's a very expensive pit lane currently at the moment with Vets, LMP1s and LMP2s sitting in there. You know, we know the GTEs constantly slide out that way. So if Richie had hit the accelerator, the only person he was going to go into was Verdolivo, Chris.
Yep, and you know that's why you sometimes just have to shoot your shot, and it worked for Verdolivo there. But we'll have to see how strong is the undercut going to be, and is Verdolivo going to react to it immediately, or is he going to stay out as long as possible? Now he's in the clear. Flamant is 2.5 seconds behind him, and is he going to be able to get the advantage? We'll have to compare their lap times if Verdolivo does stay out, because these GTEs, they can run a long time, nearly 50 minutes on this fuel tank. So he could still do another 5 laps or so, probably 6 laps even, if he really wanted to. That might be what he has to do. It really just, you know, there's so many factors to consider when really he just wants to be driving as quick as possible.
Yeah, as we see Bashoa and Flamant coming down into Canada corner. Flamant's in the front. Bashoa is behind him, heading round 13, 13A down into 14. We're going to be jinxing left very shortly. There you go. Trying to stay away from the curb on the outside. You can hit it, but it's not always the best thing to be doing. Heading round 14 now. So we've got GTEs, Verdolivo, Flamant, and Bashoa. Verdolivo doesn't cover off the move from Richie, Chris. And the interesting thing is, looking at Richie on the track map, currently, he come out in the middle of the LMP1, so he didn't have to try and yield his position. He's done near enough a whole lap, and only 1 or 2, I think 2 LMP1s have gone past him, but they've breezed past him anyway, so he hasn't lost a massive amounts of time. Maybe this will pay off for him with 22 minutes remaining.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to see. It's possibly just going to come down to where they get hit by traffic and how quickly they can deal with it. But it's going to be a very interesting little subplot. And Flamant and Bashoa, really, I'd say they have to work together as Bashoa goes in the inside here.
He's going to take the move up into 5. He's going to be taking the inside. As the leader of LMP1, Loic Marchant, he's hugged the inside and he's gone past these two fighting it out. Bashoa and Flamant. Bashoa is through. Flamant, unfortunately, has lost another position as he's put down in 3rd. Don't forget, there is only literally 6 cars remaining in the GTEs. We have Seats, McCartin, Ashave, and Simna out. And this is Ollie Cole there, Chris. Your pick for the LMP1.
This is obviously just going to be a replay of him driving really well. Oh, apparently not. Honestly, though, the braking zone into Canada corner is so deceptively difficult because you really have to maintain as much speed as you can, because it's a deceptively high speed corner. And you'll see, I mean, you've seen it tonight in what is one of the strongest racing driving fields you'll get. But go down to my level or your level, James, and you're just constantly going to see guys going off there because it's such a tricky braking zone.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You know, we only appreciate what we see here on a Thursday night, ESS, with these guys up at, you know, over 3K iRating. And as you say, if they're getting it wrong, can you imagine what it's like in the bottom split on this race? I don't know. I don't think I'd want to be in that race there, Chris. I don't know about you.
Well, I guess it's apples and oranges because In the bottom split, it's going to be more unpredictable, but in the top split, everyone is pushing to the absolute limit. And if you're pushing to the limit on a braking zone like Canada Corner, stuff goes wrong occasionally. And that's not down to lack of ability, that's down to trying to push that hard for so long. And it cracks even the most talented drivers eventually.
Yeah, we've got Jake Carey, Loic Marchant in the pits, Carlo Labate in third, Corbs in fourth. We're following Luke Santos, who's chasing down Amber Dachenbach at the moment. Heading down Moraine Sweet, going down into 5. I'm going to believe he's taking the inside line. Santos is going to get the job done. This is the battle for 9 and 10th. I believe Amber's new, Chris. I don't remember seeing them previously.
It's a new name to me. They're just, car 33 to be nearly a 3K iRacing driver. That shows you how strong the field is tonight, especially in LMP1s where, I mean, everyone is above 3K that's still running. That's pretty mad how strong that is. So yeah, that might well be P10 in this field, but it's P10 in a very, very strong field, and it's a pretty clean looking car. So it's been it feels a bit, or maybe patronising to say P10 is a good first race in the broadcast split, but it just, the quality of the field tonight is so strong that just being able to be still around is a victory in my mind.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We've got some extra faces in who we know. Loic Marchant is obviously always quick anyway. We've got Pizzo, Cole, Carey, Corbs, Labate, people we've seen all season. And then obviously Amber's come in, and it is. We obviously I haven't seen, so yes, we may say P10, but as you said, Chris, is P10 in a strong field that we are aware of. So it's still amazing effort that because Simon Cowlotz, who we know is incredibly quick, Chris, is out of the race. So, Amber's doing a good job with 18 minutes remaining.
Yep, and this battle with Santos, this could develop. I mean, Santos is a quick driver we don't talk about too much either. He's been around the broadcast split a few times, never quite made it onto the podium, I don't believe, but he's always had pace when we've been able to see him, and just I think been on the wrong side of a few incidents of traffic every now and then, which is again an inevitability and part of the magic of multi-class racing.
Yeah, it is here.
Verdelivo's in the pits.
Verdelivo's in, Flamont's in as well. Now, where is currently Ricky on track? He is in car number 4. Is he 4 at the moment, isn't he? He's coming round. He's down the start, finishing straight. Is this going to be the jump on Verdelivo in the pits? Verdelivo is on his way out. I believe that's Verdelivo on our right-hand side. There he is coming at the bottom of the pit lane. Is this going to work? The undercut for Ricky has done the job, and he's got gap in the middle.
Yep, and Flamant's managed to get past Verdelivo. Verdelivo must have had some damage. He was stopped for 23 seconds. Compare that to Ricky's stop of 12 and Flamant's stop of 14. If they'd have all been stopped for the same amount of time, Verdelivo would have been an absolute mile ahead of everyone. But let's not forget Side Bushoa, who was part of that top 4. He's still not pitted. Let's see if he can manage. It's a 52-second stop, although, of course, you're doing the pit lane in that. He's 40 seconds ahead of Richie. He's going to be right in there as well with less fuel to do. I don't think Bushoa is completely out of this battle for the lead just yet. We'll have to wait and see. It's a bit of a cop-out answer, but just wait. Let's see if he pits on this lap.
It's you sitting on the fence, as we come to expect. Mr. Rowlands on a Thursday can never get a definitive answer out of him, and the one that he did pick tonight, unfortunately, has ended up out of the race. Chris Rowlands, as we don't see Alistair. Yeah.
That was Richard's fault.
Yeah. Did you pick Alistair for the LMP2s as well?
I think it was Jan Studensky I picked.
You sure?
I'm going to say he's on the podium. He's doing all right so far. Although Jan Seaman is not that far behind. It's certainly keeping me honest. And for car number 21 on car 12, and that's a very quick car 12, I think Seaman can be pleased with his performance tonight as well. He's managed to keep mostly out of trouble so far, and I think with some of the trouble that's been in the LMP2 field, that shouldn't go without saying. He's up 6 places along with Kazon behind him. So again, it just goes to show you don't have to have the outright pace to have a good result in these races, as Bushoa is in the pits as well and on his way out. So let's see what happens for the GTEs here.
Yeah, Bushoa's on his way out. There is Richie again coming down. Bushoa's going to be coming out your pits on your right-hand side. You're going to see him very shortly. Look to your right. You'll see the little Porsche there. Is he going to get out in front of Richie? It's going to be a very... Oh, Richie's done it again. And that gives But Richie the lead from Bashoa by 2 seconds. Flamont, Verda, Levo. And Richie's, there you go. Richie took the decision to go into the pits early there, Chris. And as I say, he got the undercut and it worked greatly for him this evening.
Yep, I mean, something incredible was going on with Richie there because he has stopped for less time than everyone else in the GTEs. And considering how early he pitted, he's going to have to put more fuel in that car. So that is impressive. He may well have been fuel saving despite being in the lead, which might, probably not the case, but he wasn't in the lead for the whole time. Perhaps that Corvette is just a little bit less thirsty than the Porsche. But can he make it to the end?
So here we go. We've got Chris's pick for the LMP1 win, Ollie Cole, at the beginning of the race. We're heading up over 6, and unfortunately,
I'm very sorry, Ollie.
That's another one, Chris.
Well, there is a 1 in his racing position. We'll ignore the fact. And the same with Richard Sibner. They've both got a 1 in their race. I just didn't notice the 0 that was also next to it.
You're not doing too well today, mate, are you? I wouldn't want you giving me the Grand National winners because they'll probably come out with 3 legs and not have a full body or something there, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, don't go to me for horse racing tips in general, to be honest. Or racing tips, as it turns out.
Oh, sorry guys, if you are in chat, you can all DMs welcome. They send them to Mr. Chris Rowlands at TotalSimSport.com. There you go. As we see now, we got Richie in the GTE. Bashoa is in second. Flamont third. Verda Levo fourth. Pezanek is in fifth. Roning is still going round in sixth. So we'll give you a quick rundown of the field at the moment. We've got Loic marching. There he is. Absolutely massive gap on second place. Carlo Labate does a massive 11 seconds. Carlo Labate has got Jan Korbs as we see him in the Porsche for this one. He's 4.5 seconds back. And then we're on to Roberto Edouard. He is currently in 4th place in LMP1's. Jake Kerry in 5th. And then we'll go on to Mr. Rose, who's in 6th. Ben Rose there in 6th place. Daniele Pizzo, he is in 7th in the Audi. Luke Santos is in 8th. And Amber Dackenbach is in 9th. Ollie Cole is unfortunately out, and so is Simon Carlots. Now in the LMP2s, we have got Michel Sengali. He is currently in the 1st place. 2.5 seconds up the road is Alessandro Izzo. He's currently there as well. These guys have been together for pretty much the whole of the race. Now, in 3rd place, we have got Jan Stidinsky. And down in 4th, we have got Seaman. He is Jean-Paul Seaman. He is catching up it's easy for me to say. Catching up to Stidinsky very slowly. In 5th place, we got Kazon, who has been himself involved in a couple of little incidents this evening. With Cora, who's in 6th place. Blasco is in 7th. Panetta is in 8th. And then Alistair Catchpole, who we've seen unfortunately have an off, is in 9th. I believe we've still got Stuart Bickley. He's running. Is he still running? I think he's right. As we watch Alistair Catchpole go round, unfortunately. There is Mr. Bickley. He's still running. And Jim DeBacca rounds out our top 11. Down into GTEs, we got Marco Ricci, as you see on screen. Bashoa is in 2nd as we're heading down to 1st corner. We know the Corvette is quick, but what has Bashoa got? Has he got running down? The gap is coming down, but it's coming down slowly as they get interrupted by an LMP on that long run down to turn 1. And that leaves Richie still out in front, Bashoa in 2nd. Then we'll go back to Flamont in 3rd, Pezanek in 4th, Ronan in 6th. Pezanek 5th, Ronan 6th, and in the middle is in 4th place is Verda Levo. Well, there you go, Chris. That's the field for 11 minutes remaining. Not too bad. A night's of racing so far.
Pretty good. I mean, you think about something like we've not really covered the lead battle for LMP2, Sangali and Itzo, because they've stayed within 2 seconds of each other. But if you're in the cockpit of one of those 2 guys, the tension they must be feeling, knowing just one small mistake could ruin the race entirely and hand the win over, as Bouchard is getting very, very, very close to Richie here now and flashing him as well. it'll be interesting. If we're saying earlier, if Richie is going to be light on fuel, Bouchot has actually done the pit strategy even better than Richie here, because he was in 4th before the pit stops, and here he is, 3/10 off the lead.
Is Richie looking slow, or is that nervous part of the evening, Chris? 10 minutes remaining, you're in the lead. You got a little Lloyd Marching go speeding past you like a rate of absolute knots there. You're heading down the hill. Are you coming into Canada Corner with some doubt on yourself as you're heading down now? We're going to see how Richie handles it. Braking for Canada Corner, slight little lift off, letting it run round if we can. There you go. Did Bouchot get a better run though, Chris? That's the question. He looked like he was coming round a lot faster as we're heading round 13-8 down into 14. Bouchot has got to be up the exhaust of that Corvette because we know it's quick in a straight line, Chris.
Yep, and if anything, Richie's max speed is even higher than it was earlier. It was 270 earlier. His max speed now is 274. Bouchot's only 268. So I think Bouchot is going to have to do a similar thing to what we saw earlier from Verdelivo, but is he brave enough to attempt it?
Yeah, as they're coming down into turn 1, we've got the recovering Alistair Catchpole in the LMP2 now. He's coming up. They're both all coming up to turn 3. They're going to be jinking right. Catchpole settled in and waited for them to take the corner, and then he's going to be looking at diving out. But the problem is he's got Labate trying to do the same thing. In the LMP1 heading down Moraine, we've got Richie, Bouchot, side by side. We've got Labate and the Catchpole go past us as well in the LMP1, LMP2 respectively, down into 5. Richie's on the brakes. He's got to be keeping it clean for the next 8 minutes, 46 seconds. Going up over the hill, under the bridge. On the brakes as we hit the brow. There you go. Down the gears, through the gears, and off up into 7, Chris. 8.5 minutes. These guys are the closest ones on the field on the track at the moment. Chris, I can't see. I don't know what's happening with Richie. He's looking not very tidy through the corners, but he's getting away using the grunt of the Corvette down the straight.
Well, I've just wondered, maybe that's another reason he pitted early, just to give himself a few laps where he doesn't have to worry about a car being 2/10 behind him the entire time. His heart rate must be right through the roof. I mean, they're within 2/10 of a second here. He goes slightly wide. Is this his chance?
But it isn't, I don't think. As he comes down into Canada Corner, Chris, I don't think Bouchot has not got the grunt of that Porsche to be close enough to Richie to lead him down into 13 and 13A. He's tucked right up behind him, but if he lets him get on the straight, that Corvette's going to be gone. We can see it's 2 miles an hour quicker already, as you mentioned earlier on, Chris. And I'm struggling to see the Porsches, unless Richie makes a big mistake, as we see Bouchot just go off track there, he's not going to get past him.
What we do know, though, is both these drivers are pushing to the absolute limit, and it's so much easier to push to the limit if you're just behind someone doing the same. For Richie, he's got to make sure he gets every single apex and exit perfect, or Bouchot is going to be right on him. Verdelivo and Flamand behind. Verdelivo is looking like he's going to be getting back on the podium, but 3.5 seconds without these two battling. I think these battles are now separate, but that is still something Richie and Bouchot have to keep in mind, is that they are not home and drive for first and second.
Yeah, as we can see, Verdelivo there is close right up the back of Flamand. We've got 6 minutes to go. In 1 lap, he's closed up literally 2 seconds on Flamand at the moment. But Flamand's letting past. Are these guys on the same team? They're running the same liveries, aren't they?
It's a default livery, I think, but we can choose to believe they're teammates, and it was team orders.
Nice. Team orders.
It's nice to have that bit of strategy in there. Verdelivo is a quicker driver, but that's not to disparage Flamand's pace. But Verdelivo is absolutely rapid, but I don't think he's overhauling that 3.5 second gap. Flamand's probably fuel saving, and who better to fuel save behind than Romain Verdelivo?
Yeah, he is. You can hear it in the engine there, Chris. He's not taking that as much as he possibly could do, I think, as well. He's going to roll down into the kink. I think he's either really underfueled himself there, Chris. His pit stop time was quicker than some of the others, so I think he's looking at 5.5 minutes. We see Bouchot and Richie taking it nearly side by side down into 13, coming down into the last corner. Basho, Loic Rabia says yes, they are teammated apparently. Down onto 14. Bashoa's got a better exit. We'll go on board with Bashoa now. We're going to be looking at Jinkin right at the Corvette. Are we going to be able to get past? Look at the grunt of the Corvette. We can't see him anymore. He's gone. The Corvette's gone out of the corner of the eye. Bashoa tucks in again. Is he going to be going for another run on Richie coming down into one? And that shows the pace of the Corvette there, Chris. He was there 1 minute, gone the next.
Yep, and having that higher top speed, but maybe being a bit more precarious in the corners, which is probably why Richie is driving so on the edge, is just because he knows if he makes a single mistake in a corner, that's game over. But Bouchot has got the extra stability, but frustratingly for him, he just can't do anything about it once they get onto the straights. This is the corner I've been expecting to see moves, but we've just not seen it materialise. Richie's just had too much straight line speed, and you can see Bouchot is so much more able to maximise the entry, really get on the apex, and he's looking on. I mean, turn 6 would be a pretty insane place to make the move, and he's not managed it there.
He's got. We're at 4.5 minutes. We're looking at possibly about another 2 laps. Whereas Loic's just gone round again.
So that's probably 3 more laps, including this.
3 more laps, including this one we're on at the moment. So if Bashoa's got to make the move, he's got to be making it soon. We're heading round Carousel. Is he going to be looking at doing a Verdeliva and going round the outside? Richie's positioned his car now, Chris. He's not positioned it where he's A, but he put it sort of in a position where he kind of didn't give Bashoa the choice of whether to go for it or not. Heading down through the kink, down into 11A, 11B. I think Bashoa is going to get stuck here because we've got LMP1s coming up. We're not going to be able to make the move down into Canada. They're going to be looking at making that. The LMP1s are going to be wanting to get through. Richie! Oh, no! That's the leader of the GTE out because of the LMP1, Chris.
Yeah, I don't think we wanted to see that battle finish that way. That's sad. I'm not really sure the prototype needed to do that because he's not really racing anyone. But equally, once it's happened, Richie should really be looking to see what's happened there, and that's very unfortunate for him. However, it'll be interesting to see now how much does Bashoa need to fuel save. How much can Verdelivo catch him with 2 laps left to go? Possibly 3 for these guys, because I don't see Marchand catching them up. He's probably about a third of a lap behind them. Yeah, he's not going to catch them up in his remaining 2 laps. So they've got the GTEs, including this lap, as Verdeliva goes wide, just to put paid to my theory that he can catch Bouchot. Yeah, Bouchot, I think, it doesn't do anything silly now. This is his race to lose. I hope I've not just cursed him.
You're not... We've got half a second a lap, Chris, at the moment. We've got Loic Marchand just gone past now. He's going to get another lap in, I believe, and then 1 more. So Verdeliva's got two cracks at the whip. He's got half a second a lap. Loic Rabia, I'm so sad I forgot to register when I see the hype of the race. Next week, my man, next week. You have to join us next week at Sebring. As we see now, 2 minutes, 18 seconds, and down at B, going down. See... As we often have discussions each week, Mr. Rowlands, about the fact that we kind of have differences of opinion sometimes on racing incidents. Where are you looking at with that Richie incident? I didn't kind of... Yes, Richie probably wasn't looking in his mirrors, partly because, to be honest, he might not have expected that LMP1 to be taking that dive up the inside at a corner that's kind of not always done.
It's a tricky one in the sense that if that was 20 minutes into the race, I think it would solely be a case of you need to be aware of where people are because everyone's running their own race. But with 3 laps to go, there's no one in the LMP1 field that's conceivably battling with someone that they need to make that kind of dive. But once it's happened, you still sort of need to be aware. But the mental energy that these drivers need to drive at the pace they do, I can understand why Richie's not thought to look on the inside of the mirror there. I've made the similar mistake at not quite the same high level, it's fair to say, where I've assumed other drivers are going to behave the way I would behave in their situation. So when I'm not fighting anyone, I just don't. I don't do any aggressive overtakes when I've been in the LMP2s. Not everyone's like that. Other people are going to drive at 100% the whole time, and there's not. Yeah, it's difficult. It didn't seem necessary in that situation.
No, that's the thing. I did. Here we go. We see Benjamin Cora. What is happening to you, young sir? last corner. Is he going to run wide onto the grass, spin it round? Yes, he is, unfortunately for him. 1 lap remaining, and he goes and spins it on the last corner there, Chris. I think, oh, what has Kazon been up to again? That wasn't Richie involved again. Coming round 3, was it? Yeah, there's Seaman goes through. Does Kazon take a dive? I don't know if he's, yeah, it looks like, I don't know if he's nudged him there, Chris, or if he's kind of just trying to hit the brake as much as possible to stop hitting him.
I think Richie's corner was slightly compromised by the LMP2 that was in front of him, so he would have, been having a little bit of a slower, you can see he's not quite, that's not the speed they'll be used to GTs doing, and Kazon's just not reacted quickly, which I think it happens 58 minutes into intense multi-class racing. It's it is an error, but it's an understandable one.
Yeah, he's been involved in a few this evening as well, Kazon, unfortunately. For him, as we're heading round Canada corner, we see Loic Marchant down into 13. My winner, I don't know why, it just gave me great pleasure in saying that, Chris, considering, you got a couple in YouTube chat. Heading round down the long straight as we see Loic Marchant there coming across the line. Round 11 winner, Loic Marchant in the LMP1. Job done, led from start to finish, 12 seconds back. As we see Carlo Labate, I think that was Seaman going off as well. Down on the start-finish straight, Jan Korbs running the Porsche. He's in 3rd place. He's crossed the line already as well. There is Richie. He's not looking too tidy, coming round 14. Currently 6th overall. I think he's run out.
He may well have not made it, but then also he has had to spend a fair amount of fuel getting back on track. Maybe that's the difference. Who knows? But it's promoted Pezenek and running up a place, so they've done quite well for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, so they've jumped up. Poor old Richie finished down in 6th of the race. We're going to pop to an advert now, guys, and we'll run you through the results after.
He's only got 2 corners left here to go. I think spins out. Oh no, he's taken the lead there for the victory. As they come down the corner, 1.5 seconds is all that separates them. Welcome to race day in the Jeans Bowl F3 League. Heads up the inside, that's 2 positions in 1 corner.
Kind of just throw the keys in the bowl and go for it, so that's it.
And welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for staying with us for this amazing race at Road Atlanta. As we see the standings live, Road America, sorry, not Road Atlanta. As we see the standings on the boards in front of us at the moment. So the winner of the LMP1 was Loic Marchant. In 2nd is Carlo Labate. 3rd was Jan Korbs. 4th was Roberto Edouard. 5th, Jake Carey. 6th, Ben Rose. 7th, Luke Santos. 8th for Amanda Dackenbach. Amazing evening. And 9th, Daniel Pizzo. 10th for Chris's choice there, Ollie Cole. And 11th, unfortunately, Simon Cowlocks, who did not finish the race this evening. Down into LMP2, we've got Michel Sengali in 1st. Alexandro Izzo in 2nd. Jan Stadinsky 3rd. John Paul Seaman in 4th. Jose Cazon in 5th. Benjamin Cora in 6th, Alberto Blasco in 7th, Francesco Panetto 8th, Alistair Catchpole 9th, Stuart Bickley 10th, Jim DeBacker in 11th, and Just Baumeister in 12th. And in the GTEs, an amazing, excellent win for Said Bashoa, who was 4th going into the pits, comes out in 2nd, and unfortunately, due to an incident with Marco Ricci there, finished on 1st place. David Flamont in 2nd. Roman Verdolivo in third, Benoit Lepezanek in fourth, Emil Running in fifth, Marco Ricci run out of fuel at the end. He's in sixth. And then we got McCartan, Seek, Charvet, and Simnar, who unfortunately did not finish the race. So there you go. Let's have a look at each championship now. I believe it is wrapped up. We've got one round to go. Jan Corbs on 194, Carlo Labari 130. Daniel Pizzo on 78, Simon Carlots on 78 as well. Luke Santos there rounds out your top 5 on 67. In the LMP2s, Jan Stadinsky, Alexandra Izzo now is only 16 points apart. Going into the final race, that's going to be an interesting one to see how that develops. Michelle Sangali in third, Francesco Panetta in fourth, and Stuart Bickley in fifth place there. On to the GTEs. Verdolivo has pretty much shown this up. He's won that completely over Tony Ngayan, and then Richard Simno, who unfortunately did not score points this evening. Saeed Bashoa has shot up 21 places. Absolutely amazing for him. Danny Goslin in fifth, and Jerome Charvet rounds out your top 6. There you go. And then next week, we are on to Sebring, Chris. Are you excited for that one?
I'm excited to commentate on it. I fear for the drivers having to race it, especially anyone who hasn't fine-tuned their force feedback. I just did a Lotus 79 race there, lasted all of a lap, and my arms were spaghetti.
Yeah, I've done the same in the F3 as well. It's an incredibly bumpy run, as I found out on Tuesday. Don't forget, guys, as well, we are opening it up to see whether or not Total Sim Sport look at doing this again next season for the ESS top split on a Thursday evening. Head over to our Discord. Let us know what you feel and what you think, and whether or not we should carry on with this. I think we find the link on our website at totalsimsport.tv. Okay, Chris, it's that time again of a Thursday evening. How many do you need? How many words this week?
I can do it in one.
Okay.
Unpredictable.
Okay. Well, there you go, guys. I don't know what else to say. Chris has finally done it after 11 weeks. Wrapped it up in one word there, Chris.
Well, my predictions came 10th, 3rd, and 10th, so it's clearly an unpredictable race.
So there you go, guys. So what's TSS got coming up for you this week? Well, we've got the FTR 6-hour event at Spa-Francorchamps. That is at 5 o'clock on Saturday evening, GMT. And then we are back again with the ESS last round at Sebring next week. But really, guys, thank you so much for joining us, staying with us within chat, and I hope you've enjoyed tonight's racing. And all that's left for me to say is from myself, Chris, and producer Sean, stay safe, have a great week, and we might see you on the track sometime.